What's cracking, everybody? You're here with me, King ETL, and today I have for you a very special video. This is a controversial crown about Spider-Man. Now, I love Spider-Man, and since it's been like 4 months since Spider-Man Homecoming, I decided now it would be the perfect time to talk about it, because if I believe the DVD should be out by now, or should be coming out, so everybody should have seen it. So yes, spoilers will be through this. So since we all seen it, we can all talk about it. Now I bet you're wondering, why is this a controversial crown and not a movie rundown? For one reason and one reason only. Today, we're here to talk about which Spider-Man is the best Spider-Man. Now there are tons of Spider-Man movies, animated movies, TV things in other countries in America. What was that? I don't know. Either way, there's tons of Spider-Man stuff. But I think we can all agree that all of the Spider-Man are garbage, and there is one
I think they're all pretty good.
Who said that? Spider-Man.
In the edited flesh.
What are you even doing here? How did you get here? How did you know I was making a video about you today?
I had a feeling someone was bound to try and bash me. Oh, and spidey senses.
Look, I'm not really bashing you. I'm just saying, words is just criticism. Like, all of your actors aren't good.
Words can hurt too.
Hey, yes, I know words can hurt, but you have been in so many renditions. Like, there is, I think that this one is the best one, but like, what could you add to it to make it even better? Like, I think this actor portrays you the best.
See, now that's where you're wrong. Each one of them had good quality. I mean, the actors are okay, but they all contribute well to the comic book industry. Though, none of them could pull off my devilishly handsome look.
I never thought about it like that. Every Spider-Man has contributed in his own way to help you better, so we can't really say one is better than the other. But what about that weird dancing scene from Spider-Man 3?
Well, what about your promise to have a video out every 2 weeks? What happened with that?
I'm recording right now. I'm trying. Wait a second. You broke my window getting in here. Are you gonna pay for that?
That the police? Oh boy, I gotta run.
Wait a second. There's always police in Detroit. Get back here. Can you at least show Iron Man my videos? Superheroes, am I right? I think I kind of see what Jameson was talking about. But in hindsight, broken window or not, Spider-Man is right. All of his heroes and actors and things, from the weird Japanese one to the animated ones, have played a certain role in the comic book world. Like, they all shape of how we think and want Peter Parker to be. So I think in this controversial crown, even ignoring the weird dancing from Spider-Man 3, I'm going to talk about the qualities of each Spider-Man and see which one everybody likes the best and why. Alright, so for this video, even though I've talked about there is a ton of Spider-Mans, I'm only going to talk about the 3 American-made live-action movie Spider-Man, starting with Tobey Maguire in 2002 Spider-Man. Now, from the music, the suit, the action, this was my first introduction to Spider-Man besides the cartoon, and I was in love with this movie as a kid. This was Spider-Man to me, and it had three sequels. Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, in my opinion, and this is just me, he was kinda a good Peter Parker, not really a Spider-Man. Now, after rewatching all of the movies and watching cartoons and reading the comic books, Spider-Man and Peter Parker are two separate people. Like, just get that in your mind right now. Peter Parker, the nerdy kid, the quiet kid, sensitive kid, nice kid. Spider-Man is all of those things, except he's energetic, witty, funny. He's ready to crack jokes and fight crime at the same time, which is what me and a lot of people love about Spider-Man. In the 2002 movie, through Spider-Man 1 to 3, Tobey Maguire didn't really put on as much jokes as Spider-Man as I would have liked. Like, his Peter Parker was great. You felt the emotional torment with keeping the secret and hiding his powers, and when Uncle Ben died, and his love for Mary Jane and his friend Harry. Like, you feel all of that goodness from the Peter Parker spectrum. Then from the Spider-Man side, you get the cool action, but it wasn't funny. Like, he made a few jokes, good one-liners, but it wasn't Spider-Man style. Like, the reason why Spider-Man and Deadpool get paired up a lot, besides the similar looking costumes, it's because Spider-Man and Deadpool always rapid fire jokes like a machine gun. They can be getting thrown across the room, and while they're flying across the room, they're yelling out some stupid joke about the person that threw them. And that's what I've always loved about Spider-Man. But this Spider-Man didn't really admit it, if you get what I'm saying. But that's just my opinion on the first Spider-Man. Let's talk about The Amazing Spider-Man. In 2012, we were introduced to The Amazing Spider-Man with the actor Andrew Garfield. Now, I loved the suit in The Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2. Like, for me, I enjoy superhero fashion. Like, if a superhero looks cool, his powers could almost be a side note. Like Static Shock's awesome jacket coat thing on his hoverboard, but no. We're not talking about Static, we're talking about Spider-Man. His suit looked cool. I liked the orange's eyes, and I liked like the webbing designs and the big like giant spider on his chest, and the way that his feet kind of looked like he had sneakers on. Like, there's a lot of things to enjoy about the suit. Let's talk about the character. Now, Andrew Garfield wasn't a good Peter Parker, in my opinion. Like, Andrew Garfield was cool. Now, I'm not bashing Spider-Man, so I don't need him coming in and breaking any more windows of mine. But Peter Parker is never portrayed as the cool skater kid in most comic books. He's portrayed as the outcast, basically. Like, he is the one that would stay inside, work on school projects. But this kid was skating around, was kind of cool. Everybody got bullied a little bit, and it just felt like, yo, who is this hipster Peter Parker over here? But like, that's something I enjoyed too. I liked his hipster Peter Parker, but what I really enjoyed was his Spider-Man. This man, Spider-Man, is what I was saying all the Spider-Man should be. He was funny, quacking jokes, using all the spider thwips and quips and everything. He even had a good scene with Uncle Ben when he died. And I think that's why I would put Andrew Garfield a little bit higher than Tobey Maguire, because his Spider-Man was better. Well, Tobey's Peter was better. Andrew's Spider-Man was better. And you kind of need both together in order to get a good movie. But if I had to choose between one or the other, I kind of want to pick the better Spider-Man. You see where I'm going with this? Altogether, The Amazing Spider-Man had 2 movies, and there was a big spin-off thing that was supposed to happen with the Sinister Six, and there was so many hints to it with mystery villains and blah 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 blah. And I was actually hyped for it. Like, even though I didn't really like him as Peter Parker, I was hyped to see where he was going to go as Spider-Man. They had the cool little ending scene with the rhino at the end of 2. And I was like, yeah, let's go. Then he came. Captain America himself came to Sony's doors and he said, "Bring our boy home." They did. 2016 was the day Captain America marched up to Sony Studios to bring our Spidey boy home, because he needed him to serve in the Great Civil War. Even though he was on Team Iron Man, I kind of want to see Cap bringing Spider-Man home. Like, in all reality, it was probably Tony Stark that came in, threw a giant sack of money at Sony and said, "Give me the boy," and walked away. But it feels more heroic and patriotic when Captain America comes in waving his flag, saying, "Bring our Spider-Boy home." Let's talk about Tom Holland. Tom Holland was a great Peter Parker. And I'm not just saying that because everybody and their mama saying it. I'm saying it because he is. When I think of modern day Peter Parker, and this is in the age of memes, jokes, all that other junk, I think of a cringe kid, and that's what Tom Holland was. He was the cringiest cringe kid, but a lovable cringe kid. Not like the kid who was yelling trying to become Goku, where you're just cringing, you're like, please stop. This is the cringe kid where it's like, oh, you're gonna grow up and be something cool, aren't you? And then he took that and put it onto Spider-Man, where you get this Spider-Man where he's like slightly cringy, but he's funny, he fights well, he has a cool suit, his robot voice name is Karen. It was really a good movie. It was amazing. It was spectacular. They should have called it the Spectacular Spider-Man instead of Homecoming. It's like what Tom Holland did, like from a reviewer standpoint, his character of Peter Parker used Spider-Man to be everything he wanted to be. Where Peter Parker couldn't talk to people or was afraid of bullies or was shy and antisocial, tongue twister, as soon as he put on the mask, he became able to, oh, I can make all the jokes I want to, I can talk to whoever I want to, I can fight anybody I want to. He wasn't scared when he was Spider-Man, but the second the mask comes off, it's back to, yeah, I'm kind of scared, I don't want to talk. And that's how I personally see Spider-Man. That's how Spider-Man is shown in the comics. Spider-Man is Peter Parker's anti-ego. They're not one person. They are two different people working in the same body. Spider-Man is everything Peter wants to be, but he can't. And that's why I love it. But I can sit here and I can talk all day about why I like Spider-Man. But I got something in here inside of my bag. Is my friend who also loves Spider-Man. He wanted to give his quick inputs on why he thinks the Spider-Man is so good and everything else. And I told him, you know more than Spider-Man than I do. So here, Brad, come talk to these lovely people about what makes a good Spider-Man.
While I do like elements from every single actor who plays Spider-Man in live action form, I do have like a preference. My least favorite Spider-Man is Tobey Maguire, due to that that his Spider-Man was kind of meh, like I mentioned earlier in the video, and his Peter Parker was of course it was a good Peter Parker, but I felt it could have been handled a lot better. I felt like he should have been a lot smarter. I felt that he should have been less dickish. Like not try to convince Mary Jane out of her marriage, but that's besides the point. Favorite is Andrew Garfield, and I know people are gonna hate me for the fact that I like Andrew Garfield more than Tobey Maguire, but I don't care. Perfect. Sure, his Peter Parker, needs like a bit of work, but honestly, I still like this Peter Parker. He was, socially awkward, and he feels kind of like Peter Parker from the Ultimate comics. That's how I felt. That's how I felt. He was a loner, and I do like what they were going for. That's something that I will always give him credit for. Andrew's personally underrated. Andrew, in my opinion, is underrated. But my number one is still Tom Holland, due to the fact that, he has a convincing balance between Peter Parker and Spider-Man. He pulls it off as both. He pulls off an amazing Peter Parker and an amazing Spider-Man. Yes, those puns were completely intended. He cracked jokes. He's, geeky. He is Peter Parker / Spider-Man, and frankly, I feel he's gonna go down as the best iteration of the character we have seen in live action. Back to you, Michelle.
As you can see, my friend Brad thinks the same as me, basically, and we have similar listings as Spider-Man. But as I always do for Controversial Crown, I don't just ask one person, I ask the masses, as many people as I can reach. And I went straight to my Facebook and Twitter and everything, and a lot of people didn't respond to the Twitter stuff. Now, I don't really sponsor this enough, but please follow the Order of Insanity on Twitter, or my Twitter, King_ETO. Like, this is where I do all the polls and tidbits if you want to get mentioned in a video. This is how, if I'm ever writing a Controversial Crown and I have a topic, and I'll be like, hey, what do you guys think? Or, hey, vote for this, and that'll end up being the video. Or I might just share a funny meme and I want everybody to see it. So, no, please. Anyway, I went straight to my Facebook after the other stuff didn't work. And here's what some of my friends had to say. One Corn, his real name Cornell Martin, he told me that he believed Tom did great acting for Peter Parker, and the way that he played as Spider-Man was better, which is why he's taking Tom Holland as his OP Spider-Man, but he is still a fan of Tobey Maguire, and I believe a lot of us will always be fans of Tobey Maguire because he's who we grew up with. We had 3 movies with him. This is literally our Spider-Man, the one we lived with. Okay, next person. My friend Deja agreed. Well, didn't agree, but she said Tobey was the best. And she said basically for the reasons that I just stated. This is the Spider-Man that we grew up with. She believes that his Peter and his Spider-Man were the best ever. And she's entitled to her opinion. He did have a good Peter Parker, in my opinion. I didn't like his Spider-Man, but his Peter Parker was spot on. And finally, I would like to talk about my friend Sean. And my friend Sean said although he didn't think Homecoming was the best Spider-Man movie, Tom was the best Spider-Man. So, I got curious. I had to ask him, what do you think is the best Spider-Man movie? And he said Spider-Man 2, because that was the closest we got to experience Spider-Man. And Spider-Man 2, that was the one with Doc Ock. Looking back on it, it kinda is. Like, Spider-Man 2, we really got more into the mind of Peter and Spider-Man. Because Spider-Man's 2 main thing was like, being Spider-Man was like giving more problems to Peter's personal life. So it was like, he was kind of losing his powers, but it was kind of like a mental block thing. Like, he was mentally suppressing his powers. And it was interesting because, like, he didn't get them back until when Mary Jane was in trouble. And yeah, that's a good look on it for the Spider-Man franchise. Anyway, dear viewers, this has been the Controversial Crown on who was the best Spider-Man. You know my opinion, you heard their opinion, you heard Brett's opinion. What is your opinion? Talk in the comments, I'm gonna talk back. I wanna see who do people like as Spider-Man more, and why do you like this Spider-Man more? Is the new animated Spider-Man series any good? Does anybody know? Because I haven't watched it yet. There's a lot I'm behind in watching. But either way, I hope you enjoyed this Controversial Crown video. If you want more Controversial Crown videos, look at the Controversial Crown playlist right here, where I've talked about trolls and some other things like Rose Quartz's death. Ooh la la. Or you can subscribe down hizzy right here, I think, if I do this right. Either way, I'm King ETL signing off. I will see you next time. Stay weird, stay wild, and have a good time. Bye.